Hello there, Aries. Thank you for joining me for your weekly psychic tarot forecast for the week of, let's see, what week are we doing here? This would be for the week of the 19th through the 25th. I am using my Russian tarot of St. Petersburg once again. And so what we have for Monday is we have the King of Coins. King of Coins just means that on Monday, Aries, you're going to be feeling like you have plenty of resources. You're not going to be feeling worried about resources. You're going to be feeling pretty much at ease. And what else can I pull out of this for you guys on Monday? Basically, you're just going to be, there's going to be a situation in which you just feel totally and fully satisfied. For me, this is like, it's something where you get to splurge a little bit and just enjoy the bounty of the life that the Creator has given us. So this could be something like having a really nice dinner out or just enjoying a movie out. This is doing something that is whatever would be a little splurge for you. Maybe it's a trip to the hot springs for the evening, or maybe talking your spouse into just for once just slowing down and maybe stepping out and getting in the jacuzzi for an evening. But I do see it as a time to relax, a time to enjoy the finer things in life, whatever that happens to be for you. And it's a time, I almost want to say celebration. It's not exactly celebration, but it's just a peaceful appreciation for where you are right now as far as material resources go. And it feels like it does also bleed over into where you are as far as accomplishments that you've done in your life. It almost feels like a time of looking around you and going, wow, I'm doing all right. So that's what I see for you Monday, some situation of just appreciation of where you are. And then Tuesday, what we have coming up is we have the Page of Clubs. Pages are all about messages, and clubs are all about things that we feel passionate about or fired up about. And so this is going to be a new message about something, maybe a hobby, or maybe it's a new inspiration for a new hobby or a new project at work that you're really into and would like to really get going on. Or this could even be, even though it's not a Cups card, because it is something that you feel passionate about, this could be a message about a love or some kind of romantic interest in your life as well. Okay, so a new message coming in on Tuesday having to do with something that you have a lot of feelings for, whether it's a person or a project or a thing. Okay, so then Wednesday, we have the Falling Tower. Now the Falling Tower is the beginning of a process, and it's very dissettling at first, but in the long run, it actually brings you out to a better place. If you think about how towers were used back when castles and towers were around and dominant, towers were basically used as protection. If you had attackers coming at you, you went into the tower to be safe. You went up higher than where their arrows could reach or their cannons could reach or whatever. It was a place to go to be safe. And so if you lived in an area that had a lot of attackers, that had a lot of savages in the area that were continuously attacking, it might feel safe to stay in that tower. And so you might stay in the tower and only come out when you absolutely had to, maybe to get supplies, and then rush back into that tower to keep yourself in a safe place so that you weren't vulnerable to attackers. So what happens with our tower situations that we come across in life is a lot of times we find a situation that we run into because it keeps us safe from something else. Maybe it gives us some security that we feel like we need, and so we stay in that situation. And maybe the situation isn't totally ideal. Maybe we think about, what would we like the situation to look like ideally, and we know it's not exactly what we want. But there's so much security staying in that tower. There's so much security staying in that situation that we don't really look for other options. How else could we handle this? What other options are there out there that maybe could give us this type of security, but also be more what we're looking for? We don't even look for that because we feel so secure where we are. So when we have the Falling Tower show up, this is the universe actually having to kind of shake us out of our tree. Saying, hey, there are better ways to do this, out in the world. You just have to look for those options. And since you're not looking on your own, guess what? We're taking this one away, so now you have to look. That's kind of what's happening. We become too complacent in the tower. So now when we have the tower show up, there's that safe situation that we're in, and we are suddenly and unexpectedly ejected, booted right out of that situation. No two ways about it, no going back, no reversals. Now, that's what I see coming up on Wednesday, that ejection, that universe wake-up call of, hey, there's better stuff out there. Quit sticking around here. Get out. Now, the good news is, once you're out and you get your feet under you after you get over the unsettled feeling, then you start looking around and you start seeing some of those better options that you weren't seeing before because you just weren't looking around. So long term, a falling tower is a good thing. It's shaking us out of our complacency. Short term, like on Wednesday, you're just going to be in shock and kind of going, oh my God, what do I do now? That's kind of the typical reaction to a tower situation. Okay, so Thursday, the star. I like the star. The star just tells me that Thursday you're going to be feeling very in touch with yourself. You're going to be feeling grounded, very much aware of what's around you, very much in the present moment. And you're also going to be feeling like you're very in touch with the cosmic awareness, with that, universal spirit, with that guidance that comes in from the great creator. And so in between that grounding and that cosmic connection, we've got these spiritual power centers, our chakras. And your chakras, when the star card comes up, your chakras are in doing pretty good shape too. So how this actually manifests in life, this is a lot of spiritual stuff going on, but how it manifests in regular physical life that we think of is it makes decision making much easier for us. We have a lot of clarity when we're in this kind of situation about who we are, about what we want to accomplish, who we want to be, where we want to go, what we want to get done before we die, those types of things. So that makes decision making much more easy when we know what our ultimate goals are. So the main way that I see this manifesting in someone's life is decision making is just much easier. So that's Thursday. Friday, what we have is we have the Six of Cups, and it's a Six of Cups in reverse. And I'm getting a little bit of a different message off of this card for you guys, Aries, than what I normally pick up from this card. And this card, normally I would say you're having some memories that are kind of negative memories. They're not comfortable memories to have. But what I'm actually picking up this time off of this card is that you are having negative memories, but also you're going a step further. You're releasing them. Whatever those negative memories are that you're thinking of, you're releasing them, and you're releasing any negative energy that's tied to them. You're letting them go. You're not allowing yourself to continue to hold on to them and to let that negative energy continue to just add toxin to your life. So you're letting these things go, and it really does lighten your load when you do that on Friday. Saturday, Three of Coins. I really have started thinking of this as like the celebration card. We've got the musical instruments there. We've got the keys that the man is holding there. We've got the staff. The staff really adds stability as you're walking. The keys open new doors to you. Music is such a celebration and such a healing thing. I just see this as such a good card. And so what I'm seeing for you on Saturday, is some kind of celebration. I see really being aware of new opportunities for yourself and just being very happy in what you have created so far. So it's a really nice celebration of what the progress that you've made lately, and also what looks like it's coming up on the horizon in the future. Really nice card for you on Saturday. Sunday, Seven of Swords. Now, Seven of Swords means something in my other decks that it doesn't necessarily mean in this deck. So in this deck, when I have the Seven of Swords come up, what this is really talking about is that there's been some kind of chaos in your life. Sometimes it's a little chaos, sometimes it's a huge one. And right now on Sunday, it's kind of like you're picking up the bits and the pieces and the mess and kind of putting everything all back together. So like a smaller example of this would be, say you had a big party at your house Saturday. Say that's what this little celebration card is all about. So now Sunday, guess what? Somebody's got to clean up the mess and pick up the pieces and put it all back together. That could be one way that manifests. There's a lot of different ways that can manifest though in your life. That can manifest as far as relationships, emotions. That could be doing some healing work on yourself. Or doing healing work maybe even with a spiritual healer or somebody else. But I do see some kind of situation where you're picking up the pieces. For some of you, I'm feeling like this is going to have to do with friendships. There are going to be some of you that are reconnecting on old friendships that you haven't talked to for a long time. You weren't even sure if you still had their current phone number. And for some of you, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than that. This is going to be picking up the pieces and kind of putting things back together after an argument with some of your friends. I'm seeing that coming in. That quite a few of you have had an argument or some kind of disagreement with a friend. And you're kind of having to come into this place where you can still accept each other and you can agree to disagree and still be friends, or a place where you guys can actually both get on the same page once you take the time to understand each other. But for most of you, Sunday I'm seeing it as really picking up the pieces emotion-wise and relationship-wise much more than physical-wise. Okay, so Aries, that is your week. For those of you who would like to have a private session with me, I would like you to be aware that I do more than just readings. I also do mediumship work and I do spiritual healing. So if you want to check out my website and see everything I do, I'm at amista.info, amista.info, info. And then once you decide that I'm the best person for you to be talking to about whatever need it is that you have, please get in touch with me and we'll set up a session for you as quickly as possible. For the rest of you, I'll see you next week. Everyone have a great week. Peace out.